Because fellowship is deeper than communication. There was a Sunday evening here that I was trying to explain something about relationship. I spoke about something called uncomfortable silence. You know, in your relationship with people, they say you can be with somebody and you have something called an uncomfortable silence. Two of you are sitting down together, or you have friends, you people don't talk at all. And the reason the silence is uncomfortable can vary. Sometimes it is because of perceived pain. This person has done something to me, and because the person did not apologize, I'm not going to talk to the person. So there is silence, but it is uncomfortable. So it can be because of perceived pain, it can be because of misunderstanding, uncomfortable silence. You know, this person did something without the intentionality to hurt you, but you misunderstood the person's actions, and it has led to a strain in your relationship. So the silence is uncomfortable. But there's something called comfortable silence. Comfortable silence means that you don't speak to the person every day, but your love, your understanding is not affected. Because you know that the silence does not mean the absence of affection. So it's comfortable. For instance, I don't speak to my father in the Lord every day. It's not as if I just pick my phone and then I say, Papa, have fun now. Then I say, Adeo, have fun now. Because I see the way some of you send me messages, Daddy, Mingwasa, then you wait for 2 hours. Then when I come and I say, Vrendo, you now say, how are you, Daddy? Then you wait for 3 hours. Then when I come 2 days later, I now say, I'm fine, I'm blessed. How are you? Now say, I'm fine. Daddy, I want to ask you a question. No. Then you now leave it for 2 hours. When I now have time to respond, and I say, okay, ask. And I'll say, can I begin here? Oga. And sometimes you do this thing every day. Sometimes I have to shut some people down. One person will come, he will say, good morning, sir. Then I'll come and say, good morning. 3 days later, Mingo, sir. So I just sent a message. I say, if you don't want to talk, I will block you. So there's comfortable silence. You don't need to speak to the person every day. In fact, those of us who are married, you will know that sometimes you and your wife or you and your husband can be together in the same house. You are not quarreling, you are not fighting, but you are not really chatting. You are not just talking every day, every second. It doesn't mean anybody is offended. It just means that at that time, intimacy does not need to be proven by words. So the thing about communion is, people think that because you are verbose, because you are uttering multiple words, then it's a sign that you are deep in communion. Remember when Jesus was teaching prayer, he said something very critical. He said, when you pray, do not pray like the hypocrites, or is it the Pharisees now, who think that they will be heard because of their what? Much speaking. So Jesus was saying that the proof of communion is not the multiplicity of words. Communion is first the posture of a man's heart, the state of his soul. Is the state of his soul. So this is what I mean when I say there can be communion, and in communion there must be communication, or there will be communication, not must, there will be communication, but there can be communication without communion. In your Christian life, one of your greatest targets must be to move beyond just talking. Don't do prayer as a talking activity. Do prayer as an activity that drives you deeper into God. If the major intent of prayer was to ask for things, Jesus will not need necessarily to pray. He was God. That's why if you've heard me teach prayer, I've said to you that prayer primarily, the first need for prayer is intimacy. Not to ask for things, is intimacy.